Hey, boss, do you ever struggle with the idea of, am I going to be creating a bad habit with this client if I actually fulfill this request? Or am I holding boundaries? Will I lose them? Will they get mad if I say no? What if I make the exception and then we have to do this all the time? Right? Understanding the decision point of where you're going to hold boundaries and where you're going to go above and beyond is really critical and very personal, right? It's entirely dependent upon the kind of client you serve, the services and products you offer, your actual intention and desire in how you want to deliver for your customers and clients, part of your culture, right? There's so many things to consider. But here's a couple of examples of ones that can serve you. One, when we in any of my businesses make an exception, we are very clear about how this is an exception and that it won't be happening again or what would have to happen for it to be occur again. An example is in Boss HQ, right? Our hiring strategy company that we work with business owners on organizational structure and management process and really building the best possible team for yourself internally. We have an exception that we do right off the bat. We will allow the very first time strategy session to be scheduled on weekend hours. Now, traditionally, Boss HQ, we do not work the weekend. That's not our time. We're pretty straightforward company working regular business hours for our clients. However, that first client meeting oftentimes is coming from a place of extreme stress. They usually have staff that's underperforming or they're a short team and they can't get good hires in. So that business owner has a tendency to internalize all the extra work, and therefore they are really short on finding that strategic 90 minutes for our strategy session. And I get it. So that's an exception that we are always willing to make for our very first time meetings with our clients. And it's kind of fun being able to go above and beyond and do that. We don't have a lot of clients that have to take advantage of it, but it's nice to be able to offer it. And we're really clear because this is your first meeting with us and we know that you are in a place of overwhelm, which we're going to be helping with, of course. We will consider weekend hours. Is there weekend time that works best for you? So we do, I would say it's probably less than 10% of our clients take us up on that offer, but it is an exception. After that, we don't schedule any weekend time with those clients. And it's easy to serve and get them the space that they need. But that exception can really make it easier for them to feel like they're being supported. And that's part of our decision is us understanding what the client needs allows us to make that exception, right? It's not something that's frivolous. It's not something we're going to do all the time, but it is really meeting our clients where they need. And it gives a sense of going above and beyond. This is an exception. We're really clear on that in our communications. Now, where we hold boundaries in the same company, let's say in the same company, we hold boundaries. We have a part of our bossification program. We have an incubator called the Bossification Incubator. Clients are allowed to send in their documents for expert review, right? Whether that's an employment ad or a job description, whatever it is, and we're going to give them feedback. But we do require that they give us 7 business days. Now, some days we can turn it around, but more often we have people send it in and say, can I get this back ASAP? And we do ask for the full 7 days because it's first come, first serve. We might have other meetings and things going on. So we want to get to it as quickly as we can. But there's a lot of times that we need that 7th day to actually get it to them. So we try to hold those boundaries because I want my team to only work during their scheduled hours. We're not doing brain surgery. So it's not as critical for us to make a lot of exceptions. So boundaries need to be made that support your business model, your quality of life, your team's quality of life. And that's a real decision point that you can comfortably explain to your clients and they will understand. However, exceptions can be made when we are really clear on what that looks like. We explain why we're making the exception and what would have to happen if ever that exception will happen again. Because let me be clear, boss, if you do it all the time, That's not above and beyond. That's just what their clients are going to expect for your quality of service and availability. So know where your boundaries are and how it's going to support your business. Be comfortable holding that. Your client should understand when you explain it. And then make sure that when you make an above and beyond, it's not every day. Otherwise, you will be overwhelmed and stressed out.